When we hear people talking about having a strategy in place for social media, it sounds very complicated and very intense. And I'm here to tell you that a social media strategy for your business is literally just a plan. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to overthink it. It is literally just a map for where you want to go and guiding you along the way. Hello and welcome back to the All Things Social series. If you're new here and you've not seen my videos before, I am Liv. I'm a social media manager and content creator in New Zealand, and I have put on this social media series called All Things Social to help you with your social media, whether you're a brand or a service-based business or a content creator / influencer. This is a space where I share my tips and tricks and everything that I know about social media as a social media manager, helping you to elevate your brand's socials. So this week we are talking about having a social media strategy, and as a social media manager, this is an extremely important part of what I do for my clients. I don't start working with any client unless I've got a strategy in place or they've got one already and we are working on it and tweaking it. Having a social media strategy for your business is the roadmap that is going to guide you to the destination that you want to go to. And it's literally going to be your guiding star and help you through, keep you accountable, keep you focused, and keep you inspired to reach the goals that you want to reach. So what is a social media strategy? It's basically just a plan. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to overthink it. It is just a step-by-step of who your brand is, what you do, what you want to achieve, and where you want to go. So I'm going to talk you through the sections that I include in my social media strategies for my own business and for my clients. And there are 8 sections that I go through. So let's jump into it. The first section of my social media strategy is brand mission. This is the section you want to showcase what your brand is all about. What's your mission, what's your story, and what are your values? So the fundamentals of this are who, what, how, and why. Who are you? Whether you're a company or a solopreneur, who are you and what do you do? What kind of products or services are you selling, and how are you selling them, and how do they work? And then the most important part, the why. Why are you doing it? What is your purpose behind your business? How are you helping people? What problems are you solving? What's your solution? This first section is the base for your entire social media strategy. If you're not super clear on who you are and what your brand stands for, then you're going to struggle to get the rest of your strategy together. So this is a really important part. Spend a lot of time on it. Get really specific on your story and your language and your exact mission and the exact values that you stand for, because this is going to come in handy when you get to the later parts of your strategy, including your content creation and your promotion. The second section of my social media strategy is community. So who are you speaking to? Who is your ideal person? What are their dreams, their goals, their desires? You need to know the exact specific details about your target audience, because if you don't know your target audience, then how are you going to get sales and how are you going to get people buying into your business? You need to be super specific and you need to understand every single little detail about your ideal person. You could even characterize this person if it helps you. It's important to understand where they're spending their time on social media so that you can tailor your social media strategy to where people are. Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube? Wherever they are, that's where you want to be. What do they care about? What problems are they facing that your business or brand can help with? What are they looking for, and what kind of content are they craving on social media? The other important part of this section is to understand location-wise where your customers are and where do they actually need to be in order for it to be beneficial to your business. For example, if you're a location-based business that is location dependent, whether it's a service or a product, there's no point in reaching people that are not in your location, because that is not going to be beneficial to your business. So you need to think about where your customers are and what kind of promotion you're going to be doing in order to reach the right kinds of people in the right place. The third section of my social media strategy is brand image. So how are you coming across on social media? This is so important because you want your brand image to stand out. You want to be cohesive in your branding across social media. You want to know that every time you post, people are going to know that it's you and recognize you and stand out from the crowd. So what are your content styles? What's your tone of voice? What kind of emojis are you using? What language are you using? storytelling, what kinds of editing and imagery. This is the part of the strategy where I would create a mood board and really use this to visualize what the brand looks like and what it feels like and what the target audience are going to feel and see when they're on social media looking at your brand. This is quite a fun part of the social media strategy, putting together this mood board. I quite often I'll go to Instagram or Pinterest and get inspirational images that I think will represent either my brand or my client's brand, whoever I'm working with, and really put together a really lovely mood board that speaks to their target audience, speaks to them as a brand, speaks to them as the business owner. It could be things that aren't even directly related to the type of business, just inspirational things that really capture the aesthetic and the vibe of the brand. So within this brand image section of your strategy, you want to think about your brand colors, your templates that you might be using across social media, as I said, your fonts, your emojis, your tone of voice, and just the kind of styles of editing that you want to be doing. Section 4 of my social media strategy is all about content creation and content planning. This is a big chunky part of your social media strategy, and this is the part where you probably want to spend the most time and thought and getting it right. First of all, you want to think about what your content pillars/themes are going to be for your content, and this will come back to your brand mission and your values that we did earlier, and you will really use those to figure out what your content themes and pillars are so that you can structure your social media around those so that everything is speaking directly to the mission and the values behind your business. In this section, you also want to think about your content formats. So what kinds of content are you producing? So for example, if you're on Instagram, are you going to be doing a lot of video-based content or graphic design content? It depends on your business, but you want to figure that out in this content creation section of your social media strategy so that you can come up with an exact style and a process for creating that content so you can make it super streamlined and super easy for yourself. And within that, you can then think about your editing styles. So if you are focusing on video content, think about the kind of vibe and feel you want your videos to have. Is it a lot of face to camera? If so, where are you sitting? How are you sitting? How are you talking? Are you talking fast and snappy and getting to the point? Or are you kind of a bit more chill and a bit more lo-fi and just a bit more calm and trying to come across in a really relaxed format? These are the kinds of things that you want to identify in your social media strategy so that when you're creating content, you can come back to this strategy and go, oh yeah, that's what I decided I'm going to do. And you have like a list and you know exactly what you're doing, and it will just make everything really easy and streamlined. Another thing to think about with your content formats and editing styles is the structure of your posts. So for social media, you want to obviously be grabbing people's attention. So you need a hook, something that's going to grab them straight away as they're scrolling, whether this is a visual hook, a verbal hook, or a caption hook. If you have all three of those hooks, then you're going to be winning because all three of those work really well together. Then you want to make sure that you've got valuable information in your content. So if it's a face-to-camera video, you start off with that hook, then you go into the valuable or educational section of your video, talking about the topic that you've picked or tips and tricks, anything like that, the valuable informational section. Then at the end of your video, this actually applies to videos or graphic carousels or any kind of content, you want to have a call to action. So giving your audience something to do, whether it's commenting in the comments section, you asking them a question and getting them to answer, or whether it's trying to sell your product or pushing them to your link in bio. You want to give them a really easy call to action, which is going to help them make that step towards investing in your business. Within your content creation and content planning section of your social media strategy, you also want to think about what your base content is going to be. So if you are focusing on video content, then what kind of content do you need as your base? This will be your B-roll. So what kinds of shots do you need to get that you can use in all of your content? So for me as a social media manager, I use a lot of B-roll, which is basically just supplementary footage that I use in my reels. So if I'm doing a reel that's got text on screen, I've just got a video of me in the background on my laptop typing away or taking photos, or just a shot of me making breakfast or something basic like that. That is B-roll, and I use that as supplementary footage for my videos to then put the valuable information over the top. So depending on what your content format focus is, whether it's B-roll or carousels, if it's carousels, maybe you need photos, maybe you need provide stock imagery, that kind of thing of your product or your service or anything that's related to your business. That is what I mean when I talk about your content base and having a bank. So you want to have albums of B-roll, albums of photos, all in really easy places so that you can easily find everything, so that when you are batching content or putting content together, it's really easy to find and you don't spend a lot of time or waste a lot of time trying to find what you're looking for. So in your content planning section of your social media strategy, you can think about all of these things and write it all down and have it all laid out and streamlined. Within this section, I also love to set up templates for social media. So whether it's your Instagram stories, your Instagram reel covers, or your Instagram carousels, you can set these all up in Canva. I have actually talked about this in a previous video, so I will link that below. And you can get these all set up and easy to just batch create content, and you can have these linked to your social media strategy so you can always find them. And then the last part of this section in your social media strategy is creating a content calendar. So figuring out when you're going to create the content, whether it's once a month, once a week, whatever it is, you need to figure out what works for you and create an easy calendar that you can follow. The fifth section of my social media strategy is the platforms and posting schedule. So what platforms are you posting on? I would recommend focusing on 2 primary platforms, and then you can share your content across other ones if you can easily repurpose it. Again, I have this in another video, so I'll link that below. But basically, yeah, you want to focus on 2 platforms because then it's not overwhelming, you can do it really well, and then you can easily repurpose the content across other complementary platforms if you want to. For example, I focus on YouTube and Instagram. So I'm creating long form video content on YouTube, repurposing it across Instagram into shorter videos and also into carousel posts and captions. So in my social media strategy, I have the plan of creating a video for YouTube and then how I'm going to repurpose it across Instagram, what formats I'm going to repurpose it into, the kind of schedule of when I want to post on YouTube and Instagram, and they work seamlessly together for every single week. And my top tip for creating your posting schedule is just doing what feels easy for you. So whether you want to post every day or you just want to do like 3 to 5 posts a week, I would recommend that the sweet spot is 3 to 5 posts a week. It really depends on what your goals are and where you want to go. If you're in like a launch period for your business, then posting every day could be really good for exposure and getting your business out there, especially in the beginning stages. I do recommend if you're starting a business from complete scratch, posting every day is going to help you, one, get more experience in posting and just getting the content out there and getting into the groove, but also getting more exposure. So it depends at what stage you're at for your business, but yeah, 3 to 5 times a week is the sweet spot. And then within your posting schedule, and once you've figured out how many times a week you want to be posting, what's your content ratio split? So what I mean by this is if you're posting 3 times a week, what kinds of content are you posting 3 times a week? Is it 2 reels and a carousel? Is it 3 carousels? Is it 3 reels? Is it 3 YouTube videos? Whatever it might be, 3 LinkedIn posts, no matter what platform you're on, what is your ratio split for your content styles? Another really good thing to do for your posting schedule is to go back and look at your content pillars and your content themes and use those as the base for your posting schedules. So you can basically theme your weeks around the different topics and things that are related to your business. For example, I try and do a different kind of theme every week for my content. So this week I'm talking all about social media strategies. So I've got this video going up and then I've got content across my Instagram talking about social media strategy in different formats, whether it's short form reels with text on screen, face to camera content with repurposing this video into a shorter form video for Instagram, or it's a carousel scrolling through all the tips and sections of a strategy. You get the idea. So if you theme your weeks around the content pillars and themes that you've written in your content section of your strategy, you can easily create your posting schedules based on that. If you want to go one step further in streamlining your process for posting and make it even easier for yourself, you could look at scheduling platforms. So figuring out which one works for you so you can easily schedule and even create your posts to go up automatically on social media. I don't fully recommend this all the time because I think manually posting is better for your engagement, but I think it does come in handy when you're super busy. So within this section of your strategy, you can figure out what scheduling platform works for you. The 6th section of my social media strategy is all about social media goals. So why are you posting? Is it to build a community? Is it to raise awareness for something? Is it to sell your product or service? Is it to build your email list? Whatever it might be, write down your exact goals so that you can structure your social media content and your posting around reaching those goals. You could also use this section to write out your actual business goals so that you could then turn those into social media goals and then into actionable steps. The whole point of this goal setting section is writing down where you want to get to and how you're going to get there. So it's no good just writing down the goal and then hoping for the best. You need to write down the goal and write down exactly the steps that you can take to get there. For example, if you sell digital products online and your goal this year is to make a certain amount of money selling those digital products, your goal might be to make $10,000 selling digital products. That's your business goal. Your social media goal might be generating more leads to your email list. So your actionable step could be making sure that you're including a call to action that leads people to your email list in your content. The 7th section of my social media strategy is all about industry research and inspiration. So who can you learn from when it comes to social media? Who inspires you? What accounts do you love to follow? Where are you getting your inspiration? Because creating content can be exhausting, and as much as we want to be authentic to our brand and, be coming up with unique ideas, you can get a lot of inspiration from other accounts. And it's not even necessarily from accounts that are in your industry. You could even look to people outside of your industry. What kind of content are they creating? Are they doing a really cool and fun style that you think might work for your business? How can you take that and tweak it to be your own? So we're not talking about copying, not endorsing that at all, but I definitely believe that you can use social media and other creators on social media as inspiration. Within this industry research section, you can also see what other people are doing in your industry and how you're different. How do you stand out? How are you setting apart? Because obviously you want to stand out and you want people to be coming to your business in your industry. So by looking at who else is in your industry, you're just educating yourself what's out there, what you're doing differently, how you can improve, how you can kind of get up to the same level. And yeah, some people call this competitor research. I just like to frame it in more of an industry research mindset because I think that is a bit more of a positive way to think about it. But you're basically looking at other people who are competing against you in your industry. But just educating yourself. Who's out there? What are they doing? What are you doing compared to them? And not necessarily comparing yourself because that's not healthy, but just figuring out what you're doing, what sets you apart so that you can focus on that, but just being aware of what's out there. And the 8th section and the final section of my social media strategy is community building. Now, we talked about your community in the 2nd section. That was all about your target audience and figuring out who they are, who your ideal person is, who you're speaking to. But this section is all about building a community. So you've got to that point in your business where you have followers starting to follow you and you're getting eyes on your content, but how are you actually connecting with people and how are you nurturing people so that they feel valued and they feel involved in your business and they then want to buy from you? So this could be you're talking to people in the DMs, you're encouraging conversation through your posts, you're asking questions, you're starting conversations with people, and you're just trying to talk to people. That is the biggest part of promotion for any business on social media. You want to be making sure that you're engaging with your audience, engaging with your community, and making sure that they feel nurtured and respected. So in this section of your social media strategy, you could think about your communication streams. On Instagram now, you can set up these channels where it's basically like a massive group chat, but you're the one who puts the content out there and people can, I think, react or respond in certain ways. I haven't actually got one. I definitely want to set one up. So I'm going to have to take my own advice after I say this. But creating a channel on Instagram that's about your business or about a certain aspect of your business. And you could even use this for if you need feedback on products or new services and getting people's feedback and getting people's comments on what you're doing so that you can improve your business and make sure that you're involving your community. When people feel involved in the process of a business, they are way more likely to purchase that product. Because imagine you're in a group chat, you're in a channel for this business and they're asking you, what do you think about this product? What do you think about this color? Or we're thinking of doing this new style. Like, what are your thoughts? Would you wear this? Would you buy this? Like, would you use this? And you're involved in that conversation and you give them your feedback and you think, oh no, I think you should change that. And they make that change. Then they launch that product and you're like, oh my gosh, I was involved in that. Now I want to buy it because that was like, I contributed to that idea. So you want to use your social media as a hub for your community because at the end of the day, social media is social media. It's social, you talk to people. So I think you don't want to forget that when you're posting on social media. You want to be making sure you're connecting with your audience, valuing them, talking to them, getting to know them, and just engaging with them and making them feel involved in your business. So in your social media strategy, this could look like just writing down those communication streams, your kind of standard operating procedure for communicating with people. What do you say? How are you answering certain questions? You could have FAQs that you write down and figure out what those answers are, and you can create just a streamlined process of how you want to communicate with your audience in your strategy. So there you have it. Those are the 8 sections that are in my social media strategy. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that this cleared the air around social media strategy and that it's just a plan and you can do this in whatever way that works for you. But I have actually got a service dedicated to this to make your life easier. So I have a social media audit and strategy bundle that you can purchase where I will go through your Instagram, give you an audit, give you a strategy personalized to you, go through all those sections that I've just talked about and actually create it for you and help you implement it into your social media. That's a standalone package that you can just do one time and then take that strategy and use it onwards in your business. So you'll get the strategy itself, an Instagram audit report, and you'll get the template from the strategy that you can then use to tweak and refine and use in the future. So if you're interested in that, head to my website, the link is in my bio, or flick me a message and we can chat. It's available worldwide, no matter where you are. So if you're interested in that, then let me know. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video.